And I hear quite a few guys coming in from the US now, it's clear. So you, I think, dominate a lot. But anyway, I told you.
Welcome to EmComm Solutions. My name is Jake, and today we're going to step a little aside from the mesh or meshtastic radio conversations and talk still about communications, but satellite communications and whether or not you should be adding some sort of satellite communicator to your communications plan to build a more robust P.A.C.E plan when and if you ever need it. So before you run out and go buy a Garmin InReach or some other sort of satellite communicator, you need to answer these questions first. And these are the questions I always ask people when they talk, when they ask me about building a communications plan, on how to set up their P.A.C.E plan, all those other things. Who is it you're trying to talk to? And then how far from you are they? And now if those are fixed positions, that's an easy variable, right? We can figure out the terrain in between you and them and what type of equipment you're going to need to be able to have off-grid communications with that individual or individuals. And then if it's non-fixed, so it's dynamic, it's moving, that gets a lot more complex. So satellite communicators tend to fall in the contingency and emergency part of someone's P.A.C.E plan. However, if you're an iOS user, there's some capabilities now that you have. If you are an Android user, potentially here in the very near future, a partnership with T-Mobile and Starlink will offer satellite communications capabilities with that. So that might move your, if you have it in your everyday carry cell phone and the grid is still working and everything is still up and running, you may be able to move that satellite part into more like your alternate instead of your primary being just normal cell tower. So let's dig into some of that, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions in this video. And if you have more questions, of course, put them down below and I will get back to you. We'll first touch on T-Mobile. Their announcement, looks like 2022 was the first time they started making these announcements. Some of what I found later material, I'll link a video here in the video for their YouTube video where they're talking about 6 months ago launching more satellites with Starlink or SpaceX, pardon me, and just kind of talks about their vision to, cover the whole United States. And I'm sure eventually, based off of, because Starlink is in not the whole world, but in a lot of the world, that might get expanded. We'll see where that goes. But as soon as it's available, as far as I can find, the service is currently not available. My main point on this is this: most Americans, I guess, or most people in the world today, carry around a cell phone every day. So they're carrying around a radio in their hand that they use for normal everyday communications with friends, family, and coworkers, whoever it is you talk to. Now that device, and probably more of them in the future, will look to add this service to make it available so that you kind of, no matter where you are potentially, I'm sure you could find somewhere in the world that won't work in the future, but a lot of those areas, that dead space, maybe you can't make a phone call, but you can still send a message of some sort. And that's huge, right? Because that one device that everyone has already in their pocket or in their hand or wherever has a much more expanded capability, and it makes it to where, it's a one failure device. If you bust that thing and that's your only piece of equipment, then you're kind of SOL, right? But I think it's still cool. We're going to talk about a few other devices that are very common in the satellite communicator world. First being the Garmin InReach, right? And so the Garmin InReach is kind of the flagship of this world. Garmin, of course, being very popular in the satellite GPS world. They've really branched out a lot of different things, and I've always been impressed. The Garmin products I've owned have always been very reliable and quality pieces of equipment. And I'm not trying to sell you this device because I don't own one. I am highly considering adding one of these. I have a Spot, which I'll show you here soon. I also have a ACR. This is a personal locating beacon. This is a company provided with a company I work for because I'm here overseas. Part of their deal is they provide these just in case of an emergency. I have it on me and I can push it and get rescued. And of course I have to give back. These, I guess I just want to retouch on that. If you're looking around, make sure you look for the one that talks about being a communicator, because this is just a personal locating beacon. I can't like send text messages or anything like that with this. So this is basically, I need, it's an emergency and I need help. That's it. So versus the inReach can be used for the SOS situation where you do need emergency, you need medical attention, you're lost in the backcountry, whatever, you need rescue. It's one of the devices for that. One note I would say about Amazon is I have found these, and because I've been looking and budgeting and whether or not I want to add one, because I am spending so much time overseas. It would be nice to have to actually be able to communicate with my loved ones back in the U.S. if I was in a out of service area. A lot of times you'll find them on Renewed. If you're not familiar with Renewed on Amazon, it's basically return stuff, usually unused. As far as I can tell, everything ever about Renewed it looked like maybe the box had been opened before and then someone sent it back. Like they bought it and never really used it. And usually it carries the full warranty and everything. So just double check with that. And of course, Amazon usually has a really good return policy. So just double check before you buy. Don't trust me. Make sure you do your due diligence as a consumer. So we'll take a look at the Spot here. So you see this Spot Gen 4 satellite GPS messaging. This is the one I bought for the family, mainly one of my sons who spends a lot of time hiking and stuff and wanted to have that peace of mind of having something that he can take with him. We can see where he's at. He can communicate with us if he gets, maybe doesn't need emergency services, but he's running behind because that's happened a few times. That's kind of what sparked that, caused some concern because he was supposed to be back and he wasn't yet. So, and it was getting dark. That tends to concern parents. So great tool for that, right? There is a monthly subscription fee. inReach, the Garmin, also has the same. I'm not sure what the Garmin monthly fee is. The Spot one I want is like 12 something, like basically $13 a month. But and that's a month to month. You can cancel anytime type deal. I think you might be able to get a better deal if you do a whole year, but that way if he's not using it, we can cancel or pause it and then so very cool device. Obviously a much cheaper price point. I think I paid a little more than that. It's 33% off. So a pretty good deal right now. All right, so let's wrap this up. So to wrap up real quick. So satellite communicators are not for everyone, right? If you fall into a category where you think you need one because you spend a lot of time in the backcountry where cell phone service and other services may be very spotty at best or non-existent, you travel a lot, they're a great thing to have to give your loved ones, whoever it is you're trying to communicate with, a peace of mind because they can see where you are, you can message them, and if you really need help, there's always that SOS button that's going to bring emergency services to your position and help you get rescued and get the medical attention potentially that you need. That's a great peace of mind at a heavy price for some of them. That's why if you're kind of on the latter category, you don't spend a ton of time in the backcountry, the Spot device and stuff like that are a lot more affordable. Yeah, you're going to pay that monthly fee, so those are things you're going to have to weigh. But I feel like with some of these phone services now, like T-Mobile and the one through Apple, providing that whole kind of satellite feature, you're probably going to see more and more of that as we move forward in the future, because it's really just going to open up the category for those dead areas that you still have the ability to communicate, obviously when grid systems are working correctly. So, and just understand, I'm a Starlink user at home when I'm in the US, and with backup power, we can lose power to our house, and I haven't had a situation yet where our internet didn't work. So sometimes local disasters don't mean widespread disasters, so satellite systems still may be working. We're talking widespread disaster, maybe not, but in those local, power disruptions because of windstorms or tornadoes or whatever, because the ground-based station is somewhere else, your device, as long as it's still got power, can communicate with the satellites in the sky down to the ground station, and you still have internet and the ability to communicate outside that local area. So I hope you found all this useful. We love providing emergency communication solutions. If that's something you're looking for, subscribe to the channel, check us out. Our other social media links down below, and our website is also linked down below, and all other links. Have a great day.